Another one of the founders of the movement in Furgeson contacted us in good faith to correct some of the mislabeling in the previous video. The 6 leaders of the movement were against the franchise BLM. BLM was a money laundering franchise from the start, which seek to give symbolic victories over economic and political emancipation. Like Malcolm X once said, the establishment will try and satisfy our rage with symbolic victories rather than economic equity and real justice. We asked to defund and reform the police. Instead, they added BLM stickers to police cars. We asked to make amends for killing our African leaders and stop the looting. Instead, they apologized, returned teeth, yet continued the looting of our resources. This is a few examples of symbolic victories. Be careful to watch out for them. Despite being responsible for the assassination of our leaders, the FBI and CIA both support BLM. The movement was an original grassroots organization with actual leaders. When these brave leaders opposed being engulfed by BLM, they were all blacklisted or worse. This is coming from one of the founders of the movement in Furgeson. The media will try and portray the movement in Furgeson as BLM, which is why we and many other people online believe they were the founders of the entire BLM movement. Despite not being the founders, they are still leaders in the black activist community who were targeted for their work and activism. I want you all to remember this. The revolution will not be televised. If it is being televised, then it has been compromised. Our oppressors will not give us the tools to liberate ourselves, nor will they document or support our resistance. The BLM movement hijacked original grassroots movements like the movement in Furgeson. Those who did not submit faced the consequences. In America, any form of black resistance against the establishment was falsely labeled as BLM. Being from Africa and living in Europe, I had believed that Furgeson was BLM instead of their own separate movement. So I falsely labeled them together due to a misleading wiki article. Thankfully, the original founder messaged me and corrected the info. Despite this, accounts claiming to be black activists stitched my video in order to discredit all of the information and label it all as conspiracy. When I replied in the comments thanking them for correcting the inaccuracies and explaining where I found my misleading sources, they proceed to delete them and say it was intentional that I mislabeled them. However, note that she didn't disprove anything about the mysterious deaths or about COINTELPRO. She only clarified the leaders and their roles, which I thanked her for. When I asked her to help me in re-uploading a follow-up video with 100% accuracy, she proceeded to block me and delete my responses to people in the comments. On top of that, she decided to call me a fed and tell people that the video and my page is full of misinformation and not to watch my videos, despite the only thing the video got wrong was the position of the leaders of the movement, contrary to one of the actual founders who came to inform and clarify the positions of the leaders of Furgeson. This activist came only to attack and discredit, and even call me a federal agent. Luckily, those who saw their videos still watched my content and realized it was an honest mistake in mislabeling. But let's take a look at the methods of that Fed's use in COINTELPRO, specifically number 1 and 5. Number 1, infiltration. You can pause here to read. And number 5, undermine public opinion. Purposely trying to discredit another black activist for making an honest mistake and not helping him fix it is federal. The full document of COINTELPRO has been leaked thanks to Keith Forsyth. To anyone viewing this, read the full COINTELPRO document, watch my videos, and then watch their response. Then come to your own conclusion about who the Fed in this situation is. A luta continua, the struggle continues.